and hello, we are back. You are listening to IBGR.network. IBGR is a call sign for a radio station, but we're more than a radio station. We are a network of global entrepreneurs coming together to create a shared space for collaboration and business success. I'm your host, Jan Roberts, Global Influencer. Now, this is episode 9 already, Strategic Impactful Connections in Our People Lane, People Skills for Success. You can go to our website at www.ibgr.network and download the show notes. Now, when we're looking at connections, I have some stories here as well about strategic connections. And one of them actually jumped out at me when I was reading a while ago about Edison. Now, we all know about Edison and the incandescent light bulb, as you said, the light bulb. But it wasn't until 1979 that Thomas Edison, American, invented a light bulb. After all the trials, the stories have been said, 1,000 or 10,000 ways not to do it. You get the story. But he was what we didn't know was there was a British guy, Joseph Swan, who independently invented light bulbs that had commercial potential before that already. It was only when Edison's position turned out to be weak that the Americans pushed for transatlantic collaboration, resulting in the Edison company. Now, I don't know if you still teach this in these days, but in my time in the benches, we all got to know that Thomas Edison invented the electric light bulb. Or did he? See, it is not about casting aspersions about the reputation of one of America's biggest heroes, but Edison, who patented this light bulb in 1979, merely improved on the design that the British inventor Joseph Swan had patented years earlier. Now, this is of course open to debate, but it's not about whether he did or he invented a light bulb, that's for sure. But Swan actually sued Edison for patent infringement, and the British courts ruled against Edison. Why would they? But I mean, of course, they did, and as a punishment, Edison had to make Swan a partner in his electric company. Even the US Patent Office decided in 1983 that Edison's patent was invalid, as it also duplicated the work of another American inventor. But you know what's the amazing thing about that part of the story is that Edison plowed ahead regardless. You know, he had his own ideas, he did all this kind of stuff, and he actually really he's done so many inventions, and so we will never take that away. But it's more about the next part of that little story, that intriguing part that I never knew about until I read it somewhere. I don't know when I did that, but I felt it important enough to actually bring it into this strategic, impactful connections. So Edison eventually partnered with Swan, who I mentioned already had a similar patent for the light bulb, or incandescent light at that time, of course. But in the UK, when Edison had his in the USA. Now, Edison Swan United, or Eddy Swan, became the world's biggest light bulb manufacturer. Many failures, many ways in which not to do it, followed by tremendous success. Now, this is a tremendous strategic and impactful connection. Never mind how they got there, because at first they thought they were competition, doing the same thing basically. But sometimes, you know, as I mentioned earlier already, sometimes to get together in a strategic connection, doing the same thing, is actually a good thing, because even in the early days, they did not start with the best foundations to build on. They actually became, as I'll just mention it again, the world's biggest light bulb manufacturers. And what a success it was, as we all know. Now, next week I'm actually going to talk into contact spheres, which talk into the effective networking and strategic connections in that way. How to find these kind of people and what a contact sphere is. But it certainly talks into that a lot more about effective networking. So join us next week as well, when I'll surely be back on Facebook as well as on the radio. But I thought it was a lovely story to actually talk about how sometimes it can be disastrous at the start, and thinking we're competitors even across the world without all the connections we have just now. I mean, this was not something that they could just fly over in that time to go and see each other, because it was what year was it? 18 something. Let me have a look back. Some of you already remember that, 1879, 1883, in that neighborhood. Yeah. So the first plane didn't take off from Kitty Hawk in 1903 by the Wright brothers, of course. But let me ask you a question. Are you optimizing all of your contacts, connections, and relationships? if you've got to be strategic, because are your networks simultaneously powering your business, bottom line, and your own career trajectory? Now, all this is possible in a network-oriented place where connections and collaborations go hand in hand with your company's growth and your success. Now, connections go hand in hand, make no mistake. So there's sometimes a mistaken notion that networking involves taking advantage of others. Now, how to gain a deeper understanding of the knowledge and influence of each person you interact with and create authentic and productive professional relationships is so important in today's world. So there are must-have skills for developing strategic connections, the foundations on which these powerful interactions are built. And these will apply to entrepreneurs as well as growing larger organizations. And I will mention them just briefly here. I'll go through a few of them. I will also have to keep an eye on the time, of course, because on Facebook I could just keep going. But we have a radio show, and of course a great radio show. What we've done is ibgr.network. We just taken the mast away, and the internet is now our mast. And it's wonderful how it all works, how we can reach people in 145 countries, and like and share this kind of stuff, because there is so much of it. But in and the kind of things that the must-have skills, we need to talk into is we need to expand and strengthen your authentic networker identity. We need to make even random conversations count, because we need to be purposefully selective in the networking groups you join and create a strategic roadmap for networking success. I'm going to talk a lot more into that, how to be more effective as a networker next week as well, because that's really, some of us waste a lot of time when we actually are not effective, and we just are basically professional visitors to groups. So we need to get away from that. But envision and create your ideal network. So you need to have a picture of what you want, really. Learn how to construct the 4 nets that will organize and optimize your current connections while you add new ones. Now I'm going to talk about those. The 4 nets are your life net, your work net, your professional net, and your organizational nets. But again, that comes into the networking session next week. Develop trusting relationships, another one, very important. Learn how to prove your trustworthiness. See, people do business with those they like, know, and trust. I mean, we all know those sentences, but what does it mean? That means that we also need to develop. It's warm in here. We've got a sunny day, even though it's -2 at the moment in sunny Scotland. The sun is glaring. You can still see it there. Where if I went there, I mean, I could divide my face just now in the Sean Connery and the side on one side, Sean Connery, and then my darker side. But yeah, the sun is shining and it's warm here. But we need to learn to construct those nets and develop trusting relationships. You need to learn how to prove your trustworthiness, because people, when they don't know you, again, the effectiveness of networking, we'll talk into that next week. I will talk into Ivan Mesner, who actually developed a BNI network. I will talk into something he actually developed and talks into this very good. So, and how to determine which stage of trust you've reached, because you're not trustworthy in the same level to each and every one. You're newer people, not the same as older people, and if they don't trust you, maybe there's something wrong with you. And you can repair that. I mean, but you need to, the ethics and values of business have to be the solid foundation of which you work as an entrepreneur, as a person, and as a leader. And of course, business people, entrepreneurs are leaders. I mean, our friend Bill says as well, and he said it actually before when he talked into MLM before I came on, and the power of an MLM network and how to build it. But he said also that in the adverts in between, which you can't hear on Facebook, of course, not yet, but he said that 57% of the world's people work for entrepreneurs. That's the world's working people. That's 1.9 billion people. So then you are leading. You are leading in your own field, in your own way. And sometimes when you build larger companies, you need to start off well, because if you don't build that solid foundation of trusting relationships, so you also need to increase your social acumen. And as I see the Facebook note go by, the art of connecting. And of course, that's very important. And again, increasing your social acumen, exactly that, with tried and true methods of for remembering names, avoiding social awkward moments. I talked into cultural awareness a few lessons, a few sessions ago, which again, you can download the podcast now from the IBGR.network. But it is wonderful because you can boost your likability and also deepen interactions. My partner Artie, who's on later on today, she's also helping me on Facebook here and supporting me everywhere we go. She's also on in a couple hours' time with another amazing show. But she is a master in networking and connecting, and not only networking, but sustaining those connections and the deeper interactions, because she's a diversity and inclusion specialist as well, and she uses all that to the best of her knowledge and the compassion she's got. And it's amazing. I can talk about her for a long time, but she would be embarrassed. She shouldn't be, because she is. But you need to discover how to listen to the right things, to questions, to move relationships forward, position yourself as a go-to person, and use a variety of techniques for follow-ups to make relationships even more valuable. See, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I just thought about it, but I mean, those quotes speak into those kind of things, and I hope you get that. So, also, communicate expertise. So, use storytelling to answer the all-important, what you do question. So, don't tell people what you do. Again, I'll talk into it with Ivan Mesner's session next week, but what you do, but tell them, make it more visible, make it more, don't just go bam 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 business. I know the high D's just want to do that, and the I's and they want to tell these stories and sometimes even miss the point altogether, but make sure you do that. But hey, we are already coming up to the 12-minute act again, and we are gonna take another little break just now. So don't go away. I will stay on Facebook with you, but don't go away, and I'll see you in about 2.5 minutes.